Jim, all of these controls have made you a bit cranky this week.
Well, I think that when you unleash something in the weekend without talking to people who have been very respectful of the government, and then you come up with another story today, I mean, what are they going to do tomorrow? This is actually not the way. It's a very ill-advised strategy. It's probably our most pristine, fantastic industry. Yes, they have a problem with China. The Commerce Department lists 18 friendly countries, not included Iceland, not included Israel, not including Mexico. This is just what I call maybe the most abusive of an otherwise really stellar period for the Commerce Department. It's a shame that this may be a legacy because, holy cow, has Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, Lisa Su, the CEO of AMD, but all the Lam researchers, the AMATs, they've played ball, they've done everything right, and it's not been enough. And this endless foray over and over with new things. Let's treat these business people with a degree of respect. David, this is what I'm talking about. You issue regulations over the weekend, which says that Israel and Iceland, there's 29 countries in the EU, only 18 around the whole world that are friendly. What is going on with that department? That department understood business. That department was one of the few departments in this whole administration that understood that business is the greatest source of social change and the greatest source of innovation. And they're being treated as if they are shabby fools.
You don't think it's just about concerning the fact that AI is an incredibly powerful tool and in the hands of our enemies could be
I think this is a blunt instrument. Why not sit down and talk with Jensen, with Lisa? Why not sit down and talk with the Lam Research people? What did they do to deserve this? Peter Navarro, yes, okay, buddy, pal, friend, Peter Navarro from the next administration. Even he, as hawkish as he is on China, would have more respect for the business people in this country. By the way, I mean, I think that the people who have played by the rules are being treated as if they've been trying to funnel chips to the PRC. It's the opposite. They've done everything that the government wants. It's time for the government to come out from behind the covers and explain why Jensen Huang has done what's wrong. Because that's the way he's being treated. Instead of the person who has done the most to advance us as a country when it comes to technology, anytime since, okay, Musk. Those two, all right? I am upset about this. It's like they do it over the weekend. They do it. What's tomorrow? Hey, on January 17, are they still going to be issuing things?
I'm glad you mentioned
What's
Jensen,
Gen 17 bring?
He did, Jim. He did knock down the quantum names a few days ago with those comments in his
now Microsoft
keynote.
likes quantum.
And then now you got this Microsoft blog and NVIDIA today announcing a quantum day in March at one of their events.
Well, it's good. It helps the longs against the short. I mean, great. Quantum, I don't know. I'm busy trying to figure out whether Jensen Huang knows when quantum's going to play a role. I love the people at Microsoft, but the idea that this is quantum's hour, they're the only... Well, it's easy to say it. SAP will say it. The problem is it commercial? And there isn't anyone who thinks that the companies that are currently trading are commercial companies.
Sean, I got to get your thoughts. These big names in tech, Microsoft today, NVIDIA, I mean, they're adding a lot of credence to this, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think they're both kind of offering two types of credences. I mean, if you look at what Jensen's saying, I think Jensen, here's my forecast. I think Jensen's going to come out and he's going to say, look, he's there. If you look at NVIDIA, they're engineers. And so what he's talking about is the reason why people think he poo-pooed it. He was really kind of right, because what he's saying is there's the scientists kind of running quantum computing right now, but he's an engineer and his whole company are great engineers. And so you've got the scientists running the show, but he's like, well, how do we make this practical? So I think that's the message he's really going to kind of clear up a little bit. And then, Microsoft jumping in and throwing education, I think that's awesome. I guess my only recommendation on the market is on the quantum side, we have a lot of scientists running the program right now, not enough engineers. And I think one of the things that we've done is we said, let's focus on engineering first. And so I think, when the market starts understanding the fact that if you start building chips that can leverage more engineering rather than science, I think you'll not only be able to solve the current problems, but I think the average American will look at it a lot more practically.
Hey, I'm going to get more into detail what you're doing, but just right now, I think the big argument here is like he was saying 15, 30 years. Obviously, that's nuts. The total addressable market, the TAM, and the potential timeline for all this are really, when this stuff becomes a household name because people are using it.
Yeah, no, I mean, look at this. But it's funny. He's got another point there. But if you look at the total addressable market right now in quantum computing, you've got companies with larger valuations right now than the total addressable market,
Right.
right? So that's kind of an interesting concept. But I think what you're going to see here is a shift. If we have our way, you're going to see a shift because you want to start looking at maybe where quantum type concepts are going to impact other markets, and that's right. That's what we've been focusing on.
Right.
So I think total addressable market doesn't make sense today, but I think it will pretty soon.
Okay, so let's talk stocks, specific names. Your top 5 stock ideas for January of 2025. NVIDIA is at the top of the list. Stock is not traded well. Why is it going to have a great January all of a sudden?
Well, NVIDIA is been mean reverting because it did have a huge move and now it's cooling, and I think it's earnings season is going to just affirm, I think, visibility about how much companies are repositioning around the value creation around AI. So to me, NVIDIA is a name you want to own for the next 3-5 years, and the fact that it's at 130, I think, is actually an attractive pullback.
Okay, you like Meta, you like Amazon, you like Alphabet. We don't even need to discuss. I think everybody probably knows the reasons why.
All right, I hope you're all doing great today. Today was a very nice day for stocks with the S&P finishing the day about 1.8% higher and NVIDIA finishing the day up by 3.4%. This is after we got both CPI and strong bank earnings this morning. Core inflation came in slightly lower than consensus estimates, and that in combination with strong bank earnings sent stocks higher this morning. And then markets breathed a continued sigh of relief throughout the day as we got news regarding the situation in the Middle East. As for NVIDIA, the company just announced in a blog post that NVIDIA will host a Quantum Day on March 20th as part of NVIDIA's GTC. CEO Jensen Huang will host multiple industry leaders to discuss where quantum computing is headed. I just want to remind you all that NVIDIA has been involved in quantum computing for some time now. NVIDIA is, of course, involved on the software side of quantum, but something you may not be aware of is that NVIDIA is already working with QPU developers to build useful accelerated quantum supercomputers. And now with the news of NVIDIA Quantum Day, we have yet another reason to look forward to NVIDIA's GTC on March 17th through the 21st. I think GTC has the potential to be more of a market-moving event than CES was. CES was geared mainly toward consumers. GTC, on the other hand, is where we are more likely to hear news about the data center, which is where NVIDIA makes the majority of their revenue. We may learn more about Rubin at GTC, and we may even learn about the next generation that comes after Rubin. Before we get to GTC, though, we have earnings on February 26th. And in the immediate term, we are likely to have some volatility over the next couple weeks due to newly proposed export rules from the current administration, and then, of course, the upcoming transition to a new administration on January 20th. I seriously think that the incoming administration is likely to roll back some of the provisions in these newly proposed export restrictions because some of the rules do appear to be far-reaching in my opinion. But we will see what happens. While I don't know what will happen in the short term, I am bullish on the long-term future of NVIDIA, and I still think the company's brightest days are ahead. Demand is still strong, as we are only in the beginning of Blackwell's production ramp. NVIDIA has a strong competitive mode in both hardware and software, and we have a clear product roadmap for both 2025 and 2026. As long as everything remains peaceful in the Pacific, and as long as none of the hyperscalers significantly reduce their capex, then I think NVIDIA should be just fine for at least the next 1 to 2 years. With all of that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of the day, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts about NVIDIA in the comments below. Please leave a like on this video so more people will see it. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.